Yeah, she sat down with Samantha York this morning, and Sam joins us now live. Sam, it sounds like they're trying to do their part to make sure something like this never happens again.
Yeah, guys, Madeline's families had their world turned upside down when they got the news. Now her sister, mother, and others who knew her are rallying together to not only honor their loved one, but hopefully help a stranger along the way.
It's hard to grasp that my sister is no longer here. Part of me still feels like it's not even real. This is just a horrible nightmare.
A horrible nightmare turned reality.
She was so full of life and joy and happiness.
Mackenzie Burgess holding back tears as she remembers her big sister, Madeline Burgess, the 28-year-old found murdered in the trunk of her boyfriend's car last month in Gardner.
I don't want anybody else to feel what I feel. It's gut-wrenching and mortifying.
Police say Madeline was killed by her boyfriend in Massachusetts. Her family believes he went to Maine to dump her body, saying she had suffered months of domestic abuse.
She didn't have a place where she felt she could go and be safe, and that's not right.
Which is why Mackenzie and her family are working towards creating the Maddie Rose Foundation, a nonprofit that would support victims of domestic violence with a safe house in Massachusetts and a closet full of essentials here in Maine.
It is okay to speak up and say, I'm scared, I need help, I am in fear of my life. We want to make sure that people know they have a safe place that they can go.
Mackenzie says it's a big project, but luckily she has people like her mother-in-law to help get it started.
Helping her to help other people, I think, will be a lot of really great self-therapy for her, and knowing that she's doing something for somebody else's family.
And though the painful hand her family has been dealt is not ideal, Mackenzie says they are finding peace by helping others.
Sad, it's a tragedy, and I don't want another family to go through what mine did. If we can save one person, then my sister's death won't be in vain.
So Maddie's house would be in central Massachusetts. Maddie's closet would be right here in Maine, and their goal is to get the organization nationwide someday. So if you'd like to help make that happen, we'll have a link to their GoFundMe page on our website. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Sam, thank you very much, and certainly want to thank the family for being brave enough to talk to us about that, because obviously very hard for them, but with a bigger picture of maybe hoping this never happens to somebody else. So.
Sure, and we're going to continue a tough conversation in a little bit, but first we're going to pause and check in on the forecast with Keith Carson.
Nothing tough about this. It was beauty, eh?
Yeah, what'd you think of yesterday?
Hot.
Yeah,
wicked hot.
If you can choose between Memorial Day or Labor Day to have off, always Labor Day. Memorial Day is trash pretty much every year. It's the worst.
When we did our holiday choices, I gave her Memorial Day off, and I took Labor Day.
It never works out.
Exactly. Are we surprised here?
It's always terrible.
Yeah.
People are like,
he
oh,
says, this is what he says to me. You do the math. He says, okay, you have Memorial Day, and I'll have 4th of July and Labor Day. So it's 2 and 2.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
and then he gets Christmas
the second
because
half,
of the
that's not true.
17 children he has, too.
I've been here a little longer than you.
What, I got 10 seconds to do weather now? Cool. All right. 86 in Portland for a high today. 83 in Wisconsin. Yesterday we got to 90 in a lot of spots. Still hot, still humid. Current temperatures in the 80s along the southern coast and into the 70s in the higher terrain. Dew points, though, hugely different depending where you are in the state. Up in Caribou, 45 for a dew point, so super dry air. But you get down into Sanford and Portsmouth, dew points are very sticky in the upper 60s. And we're going to have a hard time kind of getting this out of here tonight. I think it stays pretty humid over the southern third or so of the state while it's refreshing to the north. Visible satellite pretty clean. It'll stay partly cloudy overnight. Tomorrow's a partly cloudy day. Temperatures in the 80s, right around the coastline about 80. Up to 84, 85 though inland through the afternoon. And again, the humidity kind of creeping up. Another hot day on Thursday. That day we have a chance to get to 90 even along the coastline in the afternoon before some thunderstorms come through late in the day into the early evening. But that'll be another sticky day. Dew points will be in the 70s. After that, guys, a huge change, and the weekend will be coolish, fallish. So we'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
All right, it's something that can be difficult to talk about, especially if you've been impacted by it.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, and according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, rates of suicide have increased by 30%, over the last 2 decades. And more than half of those who died by it did not have a known mental health condition.
Now a family in Lyman is sharing their story of loss with hopes of raising awareness through a documentary.
larger than life, I think would be the best way to describe her.
Beautiful, bright, and athletic. That's how Sarah Batchelder describes her younger sister. She says you would never know from these photos her sister was battling challenges with mental health and addiction.
On her way to work, she took her life.
On March 3rd, 2018, life as they knew it changed forever for everyone who knew and loved Lindsay Winslow.
You always ask yourself, what did I not see that I should have seen?
A mother's worst nightmare, and a sister's too. One who works as a counselor helping people with substance abuse and mental illness. The two challenges Lindsay faced.
Even with all the training that I've had, I couldn't help her.
Not long after Lindsay's death, Batchelder met Kevin Hines at a conference for work. In his documentary, The Ripple Effect, he shares his story of surviving a suicide attempt with the hope of helping others. To bring the documentary to Maine, she's using the website Theatrical on Demand. It's scheduled to run September 24th at the Nickelodeon in Portland, only if there's enough support for it in advance.
If someone chooses to go, they should just keep a few things in mind.
Jenna Maynard is the executive director at the National Alliance for Mental Illness Maine.
When it comes to the issue of suicide and loss, it's always emotional. And so the ability to have a safety plan afterwards is really important. I think also not to go to a movie like that if you're still really struggling.
This film could be a way to bring people together.
As for Lindsay's mom and sister, they hope by starting the conversation, they can spare others their pain.
And if you or someone you know needs to seek help, call the NAMI Maine Suicide Prevention Helpline at 622-5767, extension 1. And Tanya Bailey-Curry, the Director of Peer and Family Programs at NAMI Maine, is here now to help us navigate this topic further, especially when it comes to getting help for you or someone you know. Tanya, thank you so much for being with us tonight. First, how do we start this conversation, whether it's one that we need to have for ourselves or for a loved one?
I think it's important to be direct. Ambiguity is difficult when you're talking about thoughts of suicide, whether it's from yourself or from supporting a loved one. So if it's you yourself, you know, I need help. And say that to your trusted loved one. If you can't say that to a trusted loved one, say that to anyone that will listen. And you know, start the path to get the help that you need. And if you're supporting someone, you know, are you thinking about killing yourself? It is a difficult question to ask, but it can save a life.
You said too off camera that being direct is very important. If you want to speak to that a little bit.
Absolutely, from the supportive standpoint, you know, being direct is the only way to go, because if you say something to somebody like, for example, how can I best help you through this? Well, what is this? What is it that you're talking about? So, you know, I want to help you. What does that look like? How can I best be supportive? And then have resources available in case someone says, you know, I'm thinking about ending my own life. Have whatever resources available so you can start that, the path to that journey with them.
What are some of the resources, especially here in Maine, for people to be able to use?
Sure. NAMI Maine is a valuable resource, really for the fact we have a clinical director that this is what his, you know, what he does for work. But not only that, but all of the work that we do is feeds into suicide prevention. So we have a helpline that is available Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, and a wealth of resources on that helpline can really direct folks in the right way to get the help that they need.
And Jenna also mentioned that when you're having these conversations, as difficult as they may be, there is a standard to uphold for best practices. What are some of the examples of those standards?
Well, you know, again, direct is one of the ways to approach the subject. It has to be direct, so there is no ambiguity. But also, you know, we talk about when in supporting folks that are thinking about ending their own life, you know, what does that path look like for them? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we obviously do not want to share details if we have lived experience with that. So if you are an attempt survivor yourself and you're trying to support someone else, you wouldn't want to share details about, you know, methods or conversations around that, because that's really beside the point. The point is really getting the person connected to the help that they need.
And Tanya, you did lose your son to suicide, Dante. So please, we have a few moments left. Just share something that you would want to share about Dante, who he was, and how you'll remember him.
Absolutely. Dante was an amazing human being. He was 21 years old at the time of his death. He had what appeared to be a great future ahead of him. And, you know, when I think about him and I think about how I want him to be remembered, you know, I really want people to think of the possibilities that all of our young folks and just any person of any age, what they can do and what they can offer. You know, he had a great smile, he had a great sense of humor, and really was in tune with what he wanted in his life and how to get there. So, you know, his story's not over. I'm still here, so his story will continue.
Tanya, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And you're going to stick around because she's going to answer your questions on the next commercial break on our Facebook and YouTube live streams. For now, we're going to send it back to Lee.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Katie Ortiz has a social stop about something that if you have the internet, you've heard about this. It's a Nike ad featuring Colin Kaepernick. We're going to find out what you guys think about what's going on there. And skateboarding is really taking off at a park in Old Orchard Beach. We're going to catch up with some of those skaters and do some tricks. Coming back.
I know your mic's on the ground, but I'll help you. We'll pick it up and we'll keep the mic on just because of, if you want to just hold this. Yeah, you did so great. Thank you so much. So we'll come on over here. Okay. And if you kind of want to just stand, we'll both stand right here.
Okay.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Just taking a quick look.
Down towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Liz says something, Tanya, which is when people commit suicide, they take others with them, and obviously that it's certainly not. It's hard on so many people that are left behind, really.
Absolutely, the pain stops for the person, but it passes on to everybody that loved that person. So the ripple effect is so huge. Absolutely.
Something Jenna and I talked in depth about over the phone today was this documentary. And yes, by sharing that message of hope and by sharing and connecting with people that have gone through similar experiences, it can be very powerful. But just the manner in which it's discussed is so vital, is so crucial. And that's what I think NAMI, you know, really, it's part of your mission, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, there's so much education offered through NAMI Maine around this subject. You know, whether it's an awareness session where you get to learn how to talk about it, what can I gain, what knowledge can I gain so I can be more effective in supporting others, or how can I learn how to really speak to the thoughts that I'm going through, the thoughts that I may be having, in a way where people will take me seriously and respond in the way that I need them to. So, and those are all free programs.
I mean, we have about 30 seconds left. I think the hard part for people is knowing what to look for so that you know to be aware, because everybody, if they knew, would have done something so many people don't know.
Absolutely. And you know, that's the hard part from the folks that are left behind, because I mean, as educated as you are, or whatever letters you have behind your name, you can miss all of those warning signs. So again, educate yourself, so when they're all right there, you start asking the question, what is happening with this person, and then reach out for help.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being willing to share your story.
Thank you so much. John is sharing his personal story now on Facebook Live. So guys, thank you so much for being part of the conversation. I'll help you go get settled, so we'll go on over this way real quick. Again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna unclip this.
Okay.
And then I gotta run.
Okay. Cool. If you want, you can just leave it on that glass table. Thank you so much, Tanya. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I think we're on my...
Yeah, yep, you're good. Thank you. Former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick is in a new ad campaign for Nike, and many people are mad about it.
This thing blew up the internet. We're going to talk more about this in Katie Ortiz's social stop in just a minute, but we want to hear what you guys think about this as well. So you can vote in our Pulse poll that will ask you if you are going to stop buying Nike products after seeing their latest ad with Colin Kaepernick.
60% right now saying no. So go ahead and cast your vote. Head to the Pulse section of our mobile app or go to pulse.newscentermaine.com. And now it's time for Social Stop.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, just do it. The image and the message Colin Kaepernick surprised us all with yesterday as Nike's newest face for the brand. It's Nike's 30th anniversary of the Just Do It campaign. The former San Francisco 49ers quarterback began protesting police brutality and social injustice by kneeling during the national anthem before football games. And while Kaepernick remains a free agent and hasn't played a down since January of 2017, the NFL still maintains they are not blackballing him. Now, of course, many NFL players followed Kaepernick's lead, which in turn sparked more protests and outrage across the board. Now, throw Nike into the mix, people will start actually burning their Nike shoes. Yeah, lots of videos like this one going around online, people cutting out the Nike logo from their shorts and socks, unhappy with Nike's decision. Now, Zito says he believes there is a natural conflict when a radical action becomes repurposed for the agenda of a corporation and becomes something to be sold. But at the same time, Cap deserves to make his money. Now, there's also lots of support far and wide. Luke says respect to Nike and Kaepernick. Speaking out against hate is so important in a society where people continue to divide us according to our differences rather than celebrating our diversity. Now, the element of surprise might work for Nike, though. Chris says marketing isn't a flash in the pan, and sometimes the best marketing means waiting for the right moment. And in this case, Nike waited until 3 days before the first kickoff of the season. By the way, Nike is the NFL's official apparel partner. Your move, Commish.
So here's my question about this Nike thing is if they've been paying Colin Kaepernick for a while now, I think it brings into question, and I don't know the answer, how motivated was Colin Kaepernick in all of his stances by what he really feels in his heart, or by the fact that he's going to be, now that he knows he's representing a company that's going to do this whole ad campaign. And I don't know the answer, but it at least brings it into question whether it was legit or he knew he was getting paid. They were going to launch this big ad, so he kind of had to keep going with it. So
it's really interesting.
You know, would he have let it go and then maybe joined a team had he not had this going? So it does raise a lot of questions.
It does. And transparency, does he owe it to be transparent? I mean, I don't know that answer either.
And does Nike owe it to say he's a spokesman for us and there's a campaign coming up soon? So a lot of questions.
When shopping for sports gear, I just go for whatever is on sale. So if the Nike stuff's the cheapest, that's what I'm going to go.
There you go. We want you guys to weigh in on our Pulse poll as well. Right now, 51% of you, pretty close, say you are not going to stop buying Nike, and about 49% of you say you will. You can vote on pulse.newscentermaine.com or click on the Pulse tab on our app. All right, coming up, we're going to hit the skate park. I'm hanging with the kids out at Old Orchard Beach.
And Keith will have his Tuesday forecast on tap. That's good. How does one create an organic sugar cone?
Right?
I don't know. It was in our house, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
So I'm guessing you didn't buy it. All right, everybody.
Do you want this one on? Oh, it's already on. Good job.
John, it seems like your story is very powerful. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Fred, we're doing well. How are you doing? Judy says, no more Nikes for me. And that comment's action too from you guys. Rachel says, can't afford those shoes anyway. They are very pricey. Let's see. So you guys are wondering about the caption to our Facebook Live. Every night it's just a summary of our top headlines for the night. So if you're just joining us now, a lot of these stories in the caption have already aired, but we will have it posted on, if there's anything you ever miss, we will have it on our website, and there's a Now section. And Sarah, thank you so much for watching. Sarah has posted a link to where you can reserve a ticket for the film. I am going to include a link to that once it's on our website as soon as the show is over. Britt is sharing her story. Very powerful, Britt. So sorry for your loss. Danielle, I think you're watching us for the first time, so thanks so much for being here. This is like a behind-the-scenes look to our entire newscast.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey Joe, how are you doing? All right.
Remember how popular skateboarding used to be? It turns out it's not making a comeback because it never left. Check out this from Old Orchard Beach. The skate park in Old Orchard Beach has been around for just a few years, but business is booming.
Me and my friends grew up, we wanted a park so badly. We'd talk about it every day after school. All we wanted was a skate park. And now that this skate park is built, there's a whole new generation of younger kids who are learning to skate.
The park has been such a community success, the city plans to expand the size to make room for more riders by next spring.
You're a part of a community when you skateboard, you know, it's the unifier. You know, you can meet someone that you've never met before, and if they skate, you can relate on a different level and look at the world in a different way.
It's an art, you know, and this is the kid's canvas right here.
Getting out of the house and going for a ride has always been perceived as something that kids do. But sometimes being a kid at heart is just as, if not more, important.
I'll tell you secretly, I think we found the fountain of youth. Between skateboarding, surfing, snowboarding, they just keep me young. You know, yeah, I take my falls and it takes me a little longer to heal, but it makes me stay in shape. It keeps my mind sharp. You know, I gotta start thinking about these things. I'm getting older. So it just challenges me continually.
And for more information about the Old Orchard Beach Skate Park and to get in on a major skating event that's happening there, check out the Now section of our website. So they were like, hey Lee, do you want to try it? And I was like, no, because I like all my pieces intact.
Yeah. It's not one of those things that you recreationally like,
no,
oh, I'm trying to half-pipe
You've either done that or that's not that. I'm too old to try that for the first time. So. I
saw Ballers. Do you ever see that show on HBO?
Every episode.
Okay, it's great. But Tony Hawk was on the last one.
I watched it.
And I'm like, Tony Hawk is
He's
old.
75. Yeah.
Tony Hawk, I mean,
but he also could be 30 who looks 75.
No, I think he's.
I mean,
he was like 40 when I was playing Tony Hawk's
aggressive lifestyle.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like a
Just gonna throw that
Keith Richards situation.
Yeah, exactly. Keith Richards 107.
Yes.
107.
Yep. All right. Well, anyways. Nice out there today, eh? 83 in Portland, 81 in Wiscasset, 81 in Bangor. Really still a mild day, not quite as bad as yesterday where we got into the 90s in a lot of spots. Dew points hugely varying though depending on where you are in the state. You know, over northern Maine, central Maine even, dew points are dry to reasonable, but just over the southern third or so of the state, they're in the 60s in Lewiston, Portland, and Sanford. So it's humid here tonight, and that's how it'll stay over that southern part of Maine. Overnight tonight, it's partly cloudy, nothing much going on. Tomorrow's a cloudier day than today, but again, I'd still put it in the partly cloudy range. We end up with temperatures right around 80 along the coastline. Could get up to 83 to 85 inland though through tomorrow afternoon when we burn a little bit of that cloud cover off. We're clear and warm overnight on Wednesday night again, and then one more hot day on Thursday. Some of us will get to 90 Thursday midday, and then some showers and thunderstorms try to come through in the afternoon. We'll see if these hold together and if any of them are severe. Sometimes when it's that warm, you have more of a severe potential. Those drive to the coastline, and after that, Thursday night and into Friday, a big change in the air mass across Maine. Before we talk about that, the showers and thunderstorms will be relatively light, and so we're not going to change this at all. The drought will build, if anything, over the next 7 to 10 days as there's not a ton of rain in the forecast. All right, after Friday, high pressure builds down for Saturday, Sunday, and into next Monday. It's much cooler, much drier, and if you take a look at these temperatures on Thursday, they're warm, but then watch what happens by Sunday. This is middle of the day Sunday, and we're in the mid 60s in places. So I think this weekend, if you're into the fall game, then you'll like it. Either way, it's sunny, so the weekend is good looking. And then some showers perhaps on Tuesday, and we may return to the heat next week. But I think really this is classic early September, battle of the seasons. 90 on Thursday, 68 on Saturday, everybody's happy.
You know what Sunday is too, right?
What's going on Sunday?
The first of what's going to be 21 wins in a row for the Patriots as they go to the Super Bowl.
21 really the opening?
Starts Sunday.
I didn't even realize that.
Sunday, Foxborough.
I missed my
Sunday.
I auto drafted in my fantasy league, so that's all I need to
wish
know.
I had you in a fantasy league. My gosh, that'd be easy money. Okay.
All right, back on track
Anyway.
here, guys. A lot more coming up in News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams has a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. In just 2 months, you're going to be voting on referendum questions. Tonight, we're going to take a look at one of them. Question 1. It would guarantee home health care and assistance to elderly and disabled Mainers. Well, today, the People's Alliance, the group spearheading this new initiative, launched its campaign in Portland. There is opposition to this question. We'll tell you why. And we're going to take a look at a new public transportation system in Rockland. It's called Dash, and locals are loving it. Those stories and more at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Still time to vote in our Pulse poll. Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com or click on the Pulse tab in our app. Will you still support Nike? We'll have more results of that coming up in a minute.
And raindrops when we come back.
Tabitha, you're not funny. So we talked last week how I was going to be going to Bethel this weekend because it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I went to Team Haley Hugs for my little friend Haley, her family, and this giant committee puts together this great event in Bethel, right in the town, to raise money to help families who are suffering with childhood cancer. So part of the way to raise money was to have me on the dunk.
You were on the dunk tank.
Yeah. So I was like, this will be fine. I mean, how bad can it be? So the kids and adults started a line when it was my turn to go up there, and it like went this way, and then it snaked around over here, and then it went over here, and my kids were in line, and then the kids who went through got back in the line, and they paid again so they could do it again. I was like wrinkled skin, so wet. And then if they missed, Tabitha's husband, John, Haley's dad, decided he would just push the button and I would go in anyway. And it wasn't like warm water. It wasn't a hot tub. It was cold.
You're a good sport.
You know, I'm a little surprised. You only sent us one of those clips for our weekend news.
Yeah,
One of those clips made
they didn't
the air.
really come out really good.
Yeah,
so.
that's a shame. I really would have liked to put all of them in a row consecutively 45
I'm sorry,
times.
you're in a bad cell. I can't hear you.
Sue Cody also posted, she recommended that the National Suicide Hotline, which is 1-800-273-8255. They're available 24 hours a day, every day. And she says, I love what NAMI Maine does also. Thank you. So thanks for passing that along as well.
Well, you want to do Pulse first? Isaac, Pulse first? Okay. So will you be able to can you do that? Because you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Look at that.
What?
90-60. 48
I know.
hours.
Is that why we're getting thunderstorms? Because like the big drop in.
Yeah. Yeah, air mass change.
Stand by.
Let's take a quick look at our Pulse poll results tonight. 56% of you saying yes, that you will stop buying Nike gear after hearing this latest development with Colin Kaepernick.
Very controversial,
Yes.
just like our meteorologist.
I said before, I'm like, I can tell you right now, that's going to be a 50-50 deal. Regardless, that's where we're at. All right, let's take a look at this. This is from yesterday's thunderstorms. Not everyone saw them, but the mountains had some pretty gnarly ones. This is actually in Dixfield from Owen. Check this out, time lapse. Shelf cloud on the front end, that's what that is. And then you see the rain shaft move in. There, across, the rain moves in, kind of obscures our vision for a while. Nice lightning strike there in the corner, and then eventually it goes on through. I think it's interesting because it's the structure of the storm very quickly for you. The front end of that shelf cloud is where the winds are, then the rain comes in, and then you see the clearing behind it. Do we have the other one, Isaac? I think we have one more of lightning that's pretty cool too. We got a lot of videos in yesterday. This one, here we go.
Whoa.
So you got a couple of strikes and a return strike. The idea that lightning can't strike in the same place twice is not true, and literally there it's returning itself on the same path. Wow. So it found a channel much like water does, like path of least resistance. It found one and then traveled through it a couple of times.
And where was this, do you know?
You know what? That's a great question.
Sorry, didn't mean to stop.
Gardner, okay.
All right,
Gardner was where it was.
Whoa, and that's not like slow-mo or anything. That's like real time?
It is slowed down.
Oh, it is?
It is,
okay.
but you can see the sign on the side there. So you're still moving, it's just slightly slow-mo, but it's a pretty cool shot.
We are going to move too to News Center Maine at 5:30 because it starts right now.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Kids.
Thanks for joining us.